It was a book on oh, I think I restarted my how to be happy right where you are. I think when I wrote that book, I was transitioning then also. And coming out of that transition, at that moment, I really thought that was like the big thing. Like whatever was happening in my life at that moment, that book was it. And it was just a small book. It wasn't even anything big. And I remember being married at the time of writing the book and thinking, oh my God, my family's going to be so proud of me. And my husband is going to be so proud that I did this thing. And I could just laugh in hysterics. He was so goddamn angry about that book. Because that book wasn't about him. And I had no idea the levels it would create. A little book, wasn't anything fancy. I don't even know that the writing was good. It was okay. I think I've gotten a little better since then, but it wasn't about him, and I learned the hard way. Men don't do well when things are not about them. Well, and I won't speak for all men. I'm going to speak for some men, because I think that's a generalization to say every man out in the world doesn't do well when something is about them. I shouldn't say that. He didn't do well. And it was just other things to follow, but boy, was I not prepared for what the hell that was going to create. Fast forward some years later, I'm now divorced, and all of these things, and the independence of having an independent thought. After being with somebody for 17 years and somebody wanting to know your every move, and making sure that the energy in the room stays only with them. Oh my God, that was so goddamn exhausting. I am so far away from the person I was. And I hear a lot of women talk about strength and, oh my God, the strength, and you're so strong. Nobody wants to be this goddamn strong. I want to be a little weak. As a matter of fact, my next fucking relationship, I want to be weak for the first 6 months. That's the joke I always make, because this is not a badge of honor. I know women say they want to be strong and they want to be this, and I don't want to be strong anymore. Power of the tongue. I am so exhausted of being strong. Anyway, I'm hoping this is recording right, because that's my car warning me that I'm getting too close and a little too fast of whatever that was. So, How to Be Happy Right Where You Are was the initial book, was what I was getting to. And I'm going to do an audio version of the book so that people can have it. I wrote the book years ago. I've made a few dollars off of it. I didn't become super goddamn rich. I made a few dollars off of it. I was really proud of it. And let me just say, it's sold internationally, somewhere in somebody's hands in London. I think, I can't think of a couple of the other countries, but I mean, if it helped somebody, and God, I hope at the time, because it might be considered a little dated, but if it helped somebody, and I hope that it did, God bless them. It's a new world out here. It's a new breed of people. People behave differently. People are disconnected. Cell phones and shit like that has made people become different folks. Short-term memory, and don't remember who people are that you've met in passing. And I'm a goddamn elephant. I remember everybody. People are not personable anymore. People don't hold your hand or hug you anymore. People are afraid. Just a whole new world. And so, try to be a blessing to somebody in anything. In a warm conversation, and food, and mental health, and a few nights past yourself, and just like, I will say this, be brave. But anyway, how to be happy where you are was for women, or even now I could say single dads, because there are some men out there with kids and they don't know what tomorrow looks like for them. Maybe they've lost their wife, or they took on some kids from a family member that weren't really theirs, and they didn't want to see them lost in the system. And so, I just think that the elevation process is a really hard thing. I previously was talking about Steve Harvey and making a joke about Steve Harvey, but I truest thing is said in a joke, that jump analogy, and let me just say, there are some stories that Steve Harvey tells you that he did after the jump that almost broke him from losing faith. And I've had a lot of moments of that because the skid marks. I failed a lot in this jump, not because I was trying to leave my husband and pack it all away and oh my God, I was trying to do this. I was just trying to elevate myself so that I could have something to bring to the table. And I found out quite quickly, all men don't take that the same. And so I am at a loss sometimes. I feel like I've gotten lost in the jump, and the voices have gotten quiet, and maybe God isn't who he said he is, because I think everybody goes through that period of maybe God isn't who he says he is, or maybe I'm praying to somebody that doesn't exist, because the transition is hard, and you never want to bring new energy into transitions like this, because people have expectations of you. People have expectations of what they think it should be and where it's going, and how much you should have accomplished already in their eyes. And so, God, he was a horrible driver. Jesus, the expectation of things is rough. Being a woman and being a black woman and being all these other things first, and before you even become a woman, I'm a mom, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm a woman first. And I think a lot of us lose that very early on. When we have kids and start a family and get married, the woman part goes away, because we're trying to be all that we can be. And I have a few shoulders of women I stand on in my family, who I guess you could say are strong women, but I'm sure it's the after appearance of it, the strength of it. This is the reality of what life is right now. This is what people are doing right now. It's a few days before Thanksgiving. People are looking for food. People are looking for shelter. People are looking for a kind word. And then you have some people who are just walking around blindly trying to figure out, their next Starbucks coffee to get, and why there isn't enough people on staff to get the damn Starbucks coffee. And I think I would be inauthentic not to say this. Hourly workers, which I'm sure most people know, are the backbone. But there are a few of us who are, I'm saying us, but I'm not including me, because I'm a goddamn hourly worker, who are lost in space, who don't know. America is built on an hourly worker. And I know I was talking about this book, but I have to get this out. An hourly worker is so goddamn important. When you don't take care of your hourly workers, when you're not providing benefits, when you're not providing health care, when you are not taking care of these people, you will lose the American economy. Black women are the number one people in this country who spend money. We are the head of the household for most of us. Some of us, we are the top educated, I feel, of any race. We work hard and we spend hard. And so when you are not inclusive, when you are constantly being pushed out of what things are, people eventually push back. I was saying that to say there is a culture of people walking around this holiday who didn't lose anything, who didn't lose a job, whose kid wasn't disrupted, whose kid probably missed a couple of weeks of college and couldn't get past that. And, you know, some real shit happening out here. And when all you're doing is walking around trying to figure out whether there aren't enough people to serve your coffee or to give you your panini or your best sandwich, or there wasn't enough people at the register to give you your return, you need to wake the fuck up. This is real life. Hourly workers are the backbone of this country, and when they don't have benefits and they've lost it all, and they don't have the next thing to go forward to, it is because you waited too late to increase the hourly wage. You've waited too late for the bonuses. You've waited too late for the benefits packages that you should have offered. The education packages you should have already offered years ago. The sign-on bonus you probably should have offered 5 years ago. Like, now it's down to the wire, you're desperate, nobody's coming back to work, and now we're worth it. We weren't worth it then, but now you're worth it. And for how long? Are these wages going to go away, or are people going to be back on the bread line in 6 to 8 months when you think that the country's back to normal? Anyway, I'm working on another book, which is an advanced copy of How to Be Happy Right Where You Are. It's a new, and it's really just a modernized version, a 2021 version, some new things I've learned outside of being married. And let me just say, before I get a group of women going, maybe that was just your marriage. I wrote a book and my husband didn't. Let me be crystal clear. I am an advocate for marriage. I loved being a wife. Preferably not his wife, but I loved being a wife. And I understood what being a wife stood for. I understood a helpmate. I understood the progression of family. And I do feel both parties have a role. And for all these young men running around looking for 50-50 split, I feel sorry for them because they're not going to find it. I personally feel like marriage is not designed that way, where if everybody's out here at one exact time working 40 to 80 hours to grab the bag to accumulate a lot of shit, a lot of things are going to get lost in translation. Growing your kids into good human beings, nurturing, conversation. Somebody needs to be home or to be present. Let me not say home, because in this day and age, I don't even know that women can afford to stay home. I was lucky enough I was able to stay home. And this is what my book was about. Somebody needs to be home to see a loose tooth come out, and to celebrate with $1 under the pillow for the tooth fairy, and to bake birthday cakes or buy a birthday cake, whatever the hell your preference is. But somebody needs to be present for that shit. And when you're not present for it, everybody's working and everybody's grinding and everybody's appointed to something at that moment in time and on a podcast and at a workshop. I think kids get lonely and they don't understand the early purpose. And I like to see kids building little businesses and doing things also. But I think that just like anything else, that shit is done in moderation. I'm blessed that I got to see everything. And now that they're in high school, which are the rough years, I'm not lost because I know exactly who they are, because I got to see everything. And I'm not lost about who this kid is. I knew early on who this kid was because I had a chance to see it. And so, the how to be happy right where you are is a business plan in itself. It's a playing field, a leveling playing field for women who or men who are at home trying to serve a purpose other than changing diapers and dropping off at a field trip. It is nowhere at any rate about abandoning your family and you didn't get a chance, because the mentality of the book going in was like, I didn't get a chance and I didn't get to do this and I didn't get to do that. And the truth of the matter is, in the rearing of children, it's going to be a lot of things you miss out on, which is why you should do a lot of that shit before you even have any kids. I had my first kid fairly young. I was 20, 21. And so I missed out on a lot. Traveling and things of that nature, things that I now know I have a strong desire to do. But this book is to maybe catch the next person. Don't be so quick to look on the other side of the fence to see what the other, because you're never going to win that race. Win your race. Have tunnel vision. Don't let the negativity in the universe distract you. Low bank accounts and your friend with the latest whatever, or women that you see. I used to see getting up and going to work in the morning used to drive me nuts. I was so upset that I wasn't in that. And now that I'm in it, I'm trying to figure out how to work for myself again and get the hell out of it. This rat race. Nobody wins. No woman wins. At home, at work, nobody's winning, because somebody's missing out on a little something. And so you have to find the balance. And that book was finding the balance. It was the exhale of finding the balance. And when I realized that I was probably in a marriage that was never going to be equally yoked, that was when the shit hit the ceiling. So anyway, this is packing weekend, and I'm going to be packing and loading and doing a couple things, and stay well, stay above, stay abreast on things. Oh, and one last thing. This was not supposed to be a car episode, but I guess it turned out to be a car episode. I was at work yesterday, and I found out that the young man, Rittenhouse, I guess I'm saying his last name correctly, was found not guilty of all charges for murdering 2 protesters, not protesters. Still unclear about why anybody was out there. I don't think any of them were supposed to be out there. Protesters, the real protesters, had already moved on. And it depends on who you ask. Maybe there was some media out there. I don't know, media outlets and bloggers and people still trying to get as much information as they can get. And maybe it was mixed with some of that out there. I didn't see all of the trial. I kind of already knew how it was going to end. Only just because he was a young kid. He was a young white kid. And let me just say, I kept hearing a lot about he got to pick his own jewelry. And I thought, what is this, 1953? We're letting white privileged men pick their own jewelry. We're going back to that again. Okay. Anyway, I kind of knew it was going to be that he wasn't going to get much, and or at all. Very controversial. He isn't going to do prison time. I'm not for or against to say he did or he should have gotten. What I will say is this, and it's the same. It's the same concept for the gentleman that killed the young man in Florida, Trayvon Martin. Because he didn't do any time either, and it's mixed reviews. He was saving the world. Anytime you got people taking matters into their own hands, unauthorized people who have no business being places they are. The other guy, Zimmerman, was, in his home and asked several times by the police department to let us handle this situation. Do not approach the young man. And he approached him anyway. And look, what's the outcome? Something really stupid happens. He lost his life. And let me just say that probably was white privilege too. Because had it been a black person and we've asked you to step away from the situation and we didn't step away, God knows what the outcome of that person would have been. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up in saying this. At 43, and I'm a Virgo. Virgos, when somebody has wronged us, we want a motherfucker get got. We want you. But I'm going to say this as I've learned as I'm starting to age. The pee under someone else's mattress is never what you think it's going to be. So he probably didn't get the time. And he's really famous right now. And he's probably going to make a little money and maybe throw out a book or so. But I'm going to say this. The quiet will happen. They will move on to someone else. They will move on to the next cause. This young man has to go on the rest of his life knowing he murdered 2 people, regardless of what he murdered them for, what at his 17-year-old mind is telling him he murdered them for. That 35 and 40-year-old mind may not agree. So he's going to have a pee under his mattress for a very long time. He has to court somebody's daughter to marry, whose father may say, I don't know that this is the guy I want you with, because he's murdered 2 people. He may want to attend a college and university that may take him and may say, we really don't want to take you because we don't want to be attached to a young man who has murdered 2 people. So I'm stressing that to say the pee under his mattress may not necessarily be the pee you wanted it to be. That doesn't mean he isn't gonna have a hard life. He's gonna have a hard life because he killed 2 people. For whatever the reason. And I personally feel that he had no business out there with a gun at any age, at any color, shooting or firing anybody at underage at 17 years old. And it has nothing to do with somebody, Black Lives, or any, it's not about any of that. As a parent, he had no business. He had no business as a parent. One quick thing. Let me see if I can. I wanted to turn the video around so you could see where I work. It's a beautiful little plaza. It's a spa in South Park of Charlotte, which is in an upscale area. A lot of affluential people come through here, and then they have this beautiful high-rise condos above a shopping area. You know that look. I love being over here, but the realities of where you are and where you're going when you clock out are 2 very different things. So try to enjoy the picturesque view that God is sometimes giving you as a preview to life and things to come. If you don't know, I'm going to say I'm a huge Steve Harvey fan for a lot of reasons. And I know a lot of men currently are begrudged to Steve Harvey and Wendy Williams, which are two of my most famous. And shout out to Wendy Williams. I hope that Wendy is. I haven't seen the Wendy Williams show in a long time. I haven't had time to, but I'm a long-time fan. How you doing? I think that she too could use a break too. And her ex-husband also is going to have a pee under his mattress for quite some time. But I'm a huge Steve Harvey fan, not because of think like a man. What is it? Think like a man, be a woman, think like a man, however it goes. I have the book. I've read a little bit of it. I haven't read any of the part that's wrong, though. I know why men are angry, because now they got to work for some shit they really felt like they had to work for, and the potential of who they are. And I think that's just so goddamn childish. But But anyway, talk to you soon. This has been a great episode. You guys be blessed. You have a wonderful day. Be kind to somebody. Nice is easy. Kind is very hard. And I think right now, with the world coming out of what it is, we could all use a little bit of kindness.